I want to thank Angie for this awesome shirt. I'm going to take you through a case study on moderated user testing. And my goal today is to help you think differently about your customers. When I started working with Brian Eisenberg in 2004, that's what he taught me to do. To think about putting yourselves in the customer's shoes, and that can really make a difference in your conversion rates. How many people here are doing moderated user testing today? Okay, it's just a few. And I'm here to convince you to start. Because once you sit down with your ideal customers, online or in real life, and have them complete specific tasks on your website, you will never think about your customer's mindset the same again. Because it's critical to getting insights about your customer's needs. What is really going on in their heads and causing them friction from stopping them from completing a task on your website? Today's case study is about something very exciting: ceiling fans. And the ideal customer is actually a B2B person. They're in the real estate space. And Jan's the ideal customer. She's a house flipper. She works for a large company, and she could be potentially buying 3 to 5 ceiling fans today on Thursday to redecorate and rent out a home next week. In order to do moderated user testing, it's simple. You can use Skype to record video, ScreenFlow to actually record the screen to see the actual facial expressions of the user, and then, of course, the device, a computer, tablet, or a phone. But the hardest part really is to recruit your ideal customers. This is the biggest difference between moderated and using something like software like usertesting.com. So using software, you tend to get potentially protesters and biased opinions. Gathering your ideal customers will give you better insight. In this case study, we use Craigslist. In a small business, home improvement environment, Craigslist is a great place to actually find these users. When we start doing moderated user testing, we want to ensure that we have clear instructions to guide them through the experience and survey them about our particular websites that we're trying to improve. You don't want to lead the participant or train them. Instead, observe what they're doing and listen to them. If you see that they move their mouse to a certain point and they stop, you can ask them, what are they thinking? What is stopping them from taking that absolutely next click? In the end, we're going to have a summary of ideas for improvement. That way you can have a percentage of each of the participants had completed specific tasks. That way you can prioritize where to improve your hypothesis. Let's get started. We simply set up Skype to do video testing, and then we set up ScreenFlow to actually record the device. In this case, we're actually going to be using a computer to walk them through the process. So we set up the call. We called Jan. You can see me in the bottom right corner. I know you can't see me in the back. Sorry about that. But she has a little bit of a different profile picture than it originally started. Pretty common these days. And as she goes through the home page and different sections of the site, we start to learn things about buying ceiling fans online. As she goes to the home page and she gets this pop-up modal, we learn that majority of the users would enter their email in order to get a discount. That's the reason why they're shopping online versus going to Home Depot. We also learn that their live chat really sucks. It's overlapping the navigation, and a goal would be to actually redesign that live chat. But it becomes very interesting to see how people buy fans online. Are they easy to install? What's the difference in the number of blades? And a goal would be just, why not adding a clear FAQ section right there on the category page? And as Jan moves to the product page, she moves down the page, and she has questions about the sizing of the fans. If she buys a ceiling fan that's too big for a small room, she's going to need to return it. And you can see her facial expression in the bottom right corner as she's touching her face. It's obvious she has anxiety about this particular problem. And that was clear. In the summary, we learned that 5 out of the 6 people were very concerned about ordering the wrong ceiling fan online. So why not have a clear return policy and an FAQ section within that product description? And overall, our goal in this is to come up with a hypothesis for improvements of the site, in particular, the cart and checkout process. And as she moves to the cart, we can see that she's having questions about promo codes. She says that she would actually leave the website to go find a promo code, just like majority of people would do, in order to get that discount. Also, if she needs to order 3 to 5 fans today on Thursday and they need to be there by next week, ground shipping, it's not going to work for her. How can I get expedited shipping? That was clear. Half of the users said the exact things. If I'm I need to make a large order and I'm a contractor, how can I order using a PO? How can I get expedited shipping? Also, 5 out of the 6 users said that they would actually leave the website to go find promo codes and get that discount. As they move into the checkout process, it's a very simple checkout process, a one-page checkout process, very easy to get them through to the transaction. And it was clear, 6 out of the 6 people that we interviewed, they felt that it was easy. It was secure and it was an easy process. And our goal is to redesign the cart and checkout process without having a negative impact, without screwing anything up, without increasing cart abandonment rates. We don't want to have less sales, right? We've heard a lot of presenters mention ensuring that when you release something, that it doesn't actually hurt your conversions. So we start our iterative testing process. We set up our baseline versus our variation by just redesigning that cart. Obviously, the buttons are a lot clearer, but what I wanted to call out to you is that we now have a call out at the very, very top. If there's a product in the cart that has a related promo code with it, it will automatically show up right there. That way, they can just go ahead and click to apply and get that promo code right there. Next, we go ahead and redesign the checkout process, taking the exact same information on the original baseline checkout and redesigning it to improve the visual hierarchy. It's now in a linear process, so as you flow down the page, it should be easier for the person to understand. It has clearer buttons, and overall, it functioned a lot better. Go ahead, and we start the testing process. Set this up as a test, and we ran it to significance, and it's a 20% loss in sales. I've been doing conversion rate optimization for 16 years. I can't live with a 20% loss in sales. There's no way that this can go into production with a 20% loss. We needed to figure out why. Why was it losing, and what was stopping people from converting? It looked better. It functioned better. What was going on? We went back to the drawing board to really figure out what was the common thing that stood out that was causing some friction. What was stopping people from converting? It was related to shipping. Particularly that if you're in the B2B space ordering these amount of fans, you need to have the option for potentially expedited shipping. And we validated that using Hotjar heat maps. We found that a lot of people were actually clicking on the word ground shipping to find out more information. Go ahead and continue the iteration process. And all we did was take the word ground shipping, that label, and change it into the word shipping with a question mark icon. When they clicked on the icon, it opened up an accordion window and gave them details about ground shipping and how to order by calling. Go ahead, rerun the exact same thing as a test by just changing that label from ground shipping to shipping with the question mark. 10% improvement in sales. Amazing, right? I know it's not a huge lift in actual sales, but remember, the goal was to redesign the cart and checkout process without having a negative impact, without increasing cart abandonment rates. In order for you to really understand what is going on in your customers' minds, you need to talk to them. You need to understand exactly what they're doing and what's stopping them from completing specific tasks on your website. Until you make the effort to really sit down, especially with your ideal customers, not random users or protesters, you'll never be able to think like the customer or put yourselves in those customers' shoes. Because you really can't make this stuff up yourself. You as the business owner, the consultant, you have your perspective and your views, and that's great, but it's really the customer's decisions and mindset that makes the biggest difference. Thank you.